We're ascending to the Upper East Side for some quality time with the Jeffersons and a slice of the action. This timeless Norman Lear comedy ran for 11 seasons, kicking off each episode with the infectious tune sung by none other than Jeanette Dubois, renowned for her role as the lively neighbor in Good Times. And whenever we find ourselves in the Big Apple, we can't help but hum along to this iconic melody. Following in the footsteps of its predecessor, All in the Family, the Jeffersons tackled sensitive topics like addiction, prejudice, mental health, and more, solidifying its place as one of television's most significant sitcoms. Today, we're returning to the bustling streets of Manhattan to reconnect with our beloved Jefferson family. Roxy Roker as Helen Willis. Helen Willis shares a tight bond with Louise, yet engages in heated exchanges with George, particularly regarding her interracial marriage. When offered the role, producers inquired about her comfort level portraying a character with a white husband. In response, she shared a photo of her spouse, a white Jewish man akin to Tom Willis, who frequented the set. Roxy's legacy endures, evident in her granddaughter, the acclaimed actress Zoe Kravitz. She embarked on her professional journey with the Negro Ensemble Company, establishing herself as a revered stage performer. Her accolades include an Obie Award in 1974 and a Tony Award nomination for her role as Mattie Williams in The River Niger. During the 1970s, she served as a reporter on WNIB-TV in New York, hosting the esteemed public affairs program Inside Bed-Stuy, focusing on Brooklyn's events. Subsequently, she portrayed various minor characters, concluding her television career with an appearance on Hangin' with Mr. Cooper in 1993. A lifelong friend of Marla Gibbs, Roxy sadly passed away from breast cancer in 1995 at age 66. In tribute, Lenny Kravitz penned the song Thinking of You, accompanied by a music video featuring Lenny singing alongside a youthful image of Roxy, an exquisite homage. Isabel Sanford as Louise Jefferson. Louise Jefferson, known affectionately as Wheezy, shares similarities with Edith Bunker from All in the Family. They're both compassionate and sensible women married to fiery husbands. Wheezy never hesitates to fire back at George with a witty retort when he gets worked up about something. Their dynamic proves that even contrasting personalities can come together to form a strong and enduring relationship. Isabel Sanford was the perfect fit for the role, hailing from Harlem herself. Her acting career took off with her debut in the 1967 Sidney Poitier film Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where her performance caught the eye of Hollywood heavyweight Norman Lear. Despite initial hesitations due to her busy schedule, Sanford's decision to take on the spin-off series proved fruitful. She earned 7 Emmy nominations, winning 1 and making history as the first African-American actress to win in the lead actress category. After The Jeffersons, she headlined her own show, Isabel's Honeymoon Hotel, airing daily in syndication, though it failed to attract a sizable audience. Sanford revisited her iconic role as Louise Jefferson in the Real Live Jeffersons touring production in the mid-90s alongside Sherman Hemsley. Later, she reunited with Sherman for guest appearances on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in 1995. The duo was frequently seen together, also starring in commercials for Denny's and Old Navy. Isabel passed away in 2004 following surgery on a carotid artery, just a month shy of her 87th birthday. Franklin Cover as Tom Willis. Tom Willis, Helen's spouse, often becomes the target of George's jests, but their banter is all in good fun. Despite the teasing, they share a genuine friendship, and their playful exchanges highlight their chemistry. One memorable episode features Tom, Helen, and George getting stuck in George's bathroom. Franklin Cover embarked on his acting journey in 1960, making a couple of appearances on The Jackie Gleason Show in 1967, portraying a police officer opposite George. Cover frequently played the foil to Sherman Hemsley's character, George Jefferson, in the sitcom that aired from 1975 to 1985. He also appeared in The Stepford Wives in 1975 and portrayed Hubert Humphrey in the 1982 TV movie A Woman Called Golda. After The Jeffersons concluded, Cover continued to land guest roles on various television series and appeared in a supporting capacity in Wall Street, 1987. Throughout the 80s and 90s, he made recurring appearances on several TV shows, such as portraying Mr. Kimball in 2 episodes of Who's the Boss in 1991. His final acting performance was in the Chris Farley comedy Almost Heroes in 1998. Franklin passed away in 2006 at the age of 77 due to complications from pneumonia. Sherman Hemsley as George Jefferson. Introducing the straightforward and outspoken protagonist, George Jefferson, who rose to fame by engaging in verbal sparring matches with Archie Bunker. Watching this gentleman in action was always entertaining. Particularly memorable is his boxing match. Just one more punch, and you're done, George. Despite his gruff exterior, George had a good heart and was known for his strong work ethic. Sherman Hemsley, the actor behind George, had a background of hard work. Having left high school to serve in the Air Force before holding a daytime job at the post office while pursuing acting in the evenings. His talent eventually caught the attention of Norman Lear, leading to his casting as George Jefferson on Broadway. You might also recognize him from his role as Deacon Ernest Fire on the successful sitcom Amen, which ran for 5 seasons. Additionally, Hemsley showcased his talent through voice acting in Dinosaurs, where he provided the voice for Earl's boss. In 1989, Hemsley, a former jazz keyboardist, released a single titled Ain't That a Kick in the Head? He remained active in acting throughout his life, frequently reprising his role as George Jefferson, with his final appearance in 2011 on an episode of House of Pain. Beyond his acting career, he was a private individual who never married or had children. In recognition of his contributions to television, Hemsley was posthumously inducted into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 2012. He passed away at the age of 74 in his residence in El Paso, Texas. Paul Benedict as Harry Bentley. Harry Bentley resides next door to the Jeffersons and serves as a flamboyant interpreter for the United Nations. Despite George's occasional irritation with him, Harry is generally good-natured, albeit perceived as a frivolous Englishman by George. Like George, their disagreements don't prevent them from eventually forming a friendship. Paul Benedict's distinctive features, characterized by his prominent jaw and nose, were partially attributed to acromegaly, a condition shared with Ted Cassidy from the Addams Family, which led to a fruitful collaboration in the satirical film Cold Turkey. Paul is perhaps best known for his portrayal of the Mad Painter on Sesame Street. One of his last notable roles was in Waiting for Guffman, where his character Roy is mistaken for the elusive Guffman, central to the film's plot. This mockumentary, created by the team behind Spinal Tap, is celebrated for its comedic brilliance. His final appearance was in the 2008 film Side by Each. Paul passed away in the same year from natural causes at the age of 70. Marla Gibbs as Florence Johnston. Who doesn't adore Florence? She's the household maid with sass, wit, and a knack for bringing laughter with her vibrant personality. She's not afraid to put George in his place, a trait cherished by both audiences and critics, earning Marla Gibbs 5 Emmy nominations. Marla embarked on her acting journey in the early 70s, making her mark with an appearance on Barney Miller in 1975. The spin-off attempts continued with Florence landing her own series in 1981, titled Checking In, but unfortunately, it failed to captivate audiences. Fortunately, after The Jeffersons concluded, she swiftly transitioned to another leading role in the series 227. She recently reunited with her former 227 co-star, Jackie Harry, in The First Family, portraying Harry's on-screen grandmother, Grandma Eddie. At 92 years young, Marla reprised her iconic role as Florence in 2019's Live in Front of a Studio Audience. She remains active, with recent appearances on the Tracy Morgan TV show, The Last OG. And it seems Marla Gibbs may indeed be the last original gangster. Marla was married once, to her high school sweetheart Jordan Gibbs from 1955 to 1973, and the couple welcomed 3 children, Angela, Dorian, and Joseph. Her late sister, actress Susie Garrett, portrayed Cherie's grandmother Betty Johnson on the NBC series Punky Brewster. Marla's daughter Angela, also an actress, made notable appearances on the TV show Sanford and Son, as well as in films such as Together Brothers, Drumline, and Think Like a Man 2, Ned Wertimer as Ralph Hart. Ned Wertimer portrayed their eager-to-be-tipped door attendant, Ralph Hart, throughout the show's run. He was notorious for lingering at the Jeffersons' doorstep, hand extended, anticipating a gratuity. While most of the ensemble typically ignored him, George was often inclined to oblige. Following his college graduation, Wertimer relocated to New York City to pursue a career in Broadway theater, appearing in productions such as Texas Lil Darlin', a 1949 musical by Robert E. Dolan and Johnny Mercer, The Live Wire in 1950 by Garson Kanin, The Disenchanted in 1950 by Bud Schulberg, alongside Jason Robards, and All in Good Time in 1963 by Bill Naughton. Concurrently, he ventured into television, securing minor roles in the burgeoning medium. His improvisational talents were showcased as a frequent guest on The Shari Lewis Show. Wertimer had a passion for global exploration, indulging in experiences like camel rides in Egypt, elephant rides in Thailand, and swimming in Australia's Great Barrier Reef. In addition to his involvement in performers' unions, Wertimer served as a voting member for the Emmy Awards at the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Upon relocating to California in the mid-1960s, he met and married Dr. Skine Uku, a professor emeritus at California State University, Long Beach. Wertimer passed away on January 2, 2013, at the Sherman Village Healthcare Center in Los Angeles, at the age of 89. Zara Cully as Mother Jefferson. Olivia Jefferson stood as a remarkable figure among sitcom mothers. Similar to her kin, Mother Jefferson made her debut in All in the Family and swiftly found herself in a contentious rapport with Archie Bunker, Carol O'Connor, courtesy of his trademark tactless remarks. As time progressed, Zara Cully's character evolved into an intriguing blend of a kind elderly woman and a challenging mother-in-law figure. Consequently, many enthusiasts likely felt a sense of disappointment upon her departure following Season 4. Regrettably, the circumstances surrounding her exit were more sorrowful than a mere decision to pursue other endeavors. Cully was already in her 80s during her tenure on The Jeffersons, and according to the St. Petersburg Times, the esteemed actress passed away on February 28, 1978, at the age of 86. As reported by Jet Magazine, the civil rights organization NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, honored Cully's contributions posthumously with an Image Award. Mike Evans as Lionel Jefferson. Mike Evans stood as the initial and arguably more renowned of the duo who portrayed Lionel Jefferson, the son of George and Wheezy. After embodying the iconic character in All in the Family and the inaugural season of The Jeffersons, Evans reprised his role as Lionel from Season 6 onward. Yet you may be unaware that this is merely a segment of his sitcom heritage. Evans also served as a co-creator and writer for the CBS sitcom Good Times, another show linked to All in the Family that stemmed from Maude. Following the conclusion of The Jeffersons, Evans wasn't notably active in the acting realm and ultimately ceased acting after one last guest appearance in an episode of the Chuck Norris-led CBS crime series Walker, Texas Ranger, as reported by the New York Times. It appears he transitioned to investments in real estate. In December 2006, he passed away from throat cancer in 29 Palms, CA. The sitcom luminary was only 57 years old. Damon Evans as Lionel Jefferson. Damon Evans, the second Lionel, had no familial connection to Mike and boasts a successful career as a vocalist and stage performer. His off-Broadway accolades encompass roles in A Day in the Life of Nearly Everyone, Bury the Deceased for the Urban Arts Corp., and Adore Me, Adore My Offspring. He marked his Broadway premiere in The Me Nobody Recognizes. Additional Broadway highlights feature Via Andromeda and Astray in the Stars, in the authorized concert adaptation of the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. He participated in the Broadway production Don't Disturb Me, I'm Unable to Cope. During the late 1980s, Evans graced the stage in Trevor Nunn's Glyndebourne Festival rendition of the George Gershwin opera, Porgy and Bess, and later in the 1993 television rendering of that rendition. Alongside Evans and other esteemed performers, this British rendition of Gershwin's American folk opera showcases the Glyndebourne Chorus and the London Symphony Orchestra, both under the baton of Sir Simon Rattle. Nevertheless, his life was afflicted by despondency and substance abuse, confessing in 2019 that he resorted to drugs to cope with the dissatisfaction of being on the show. He aspired to pursue operatic singing. It reached a juncture where he contemplated ending his own life in 1997, yet he managed to reverse his circumstances, forsaking drugs and even returning to academia to obtain his bachelor's degree in behavioral science from Bronx Community College. Presently, aged 74, he has not engaged in acting since 2000 in an episode of Third Lookout. J. Hammer as Alan Willis. J. Hammer played a memorable character as Alan Willis during the 1978-1979 season of The Jeffersons. His role on The Jeffersons portrayed the offspring of interracial couple Tom and Helen Willis. Additional appearances include parts in The Sapphire Night, Detective Kojak, Investigator Mannix, Children and Offspring, Urgent, and Adam 12. His stage credentials feature off-Broadway performances in Crossing Through Distant Places and Crooning Larry on Texas in 1981. He is most recognized for his portrayal as independent reporter Fletcher Reed, who develops feelings for Dr. Claire Ramsey on CBS Daytime's Guiding Light from March 1984 to March 1998. He briefly reprised his role in the spring of 1999 and made a final appearance as the series concluded in 2009. He resided for 5 years with Texas and Guiding Light scriptwriter Pamela K. Long. They share one offspring. He has been wedded to Dine Nardi since 1990. They have 2 children. Hammer contributed to Guiding Light as a writer under the pseudonym Charles J. Hammer. Danny Wells as Charlie. Danny Wells portrayed Charlie, the proprietor and bartender of a nearby tavern close to the Jeffersons' apartment building. The ensemble frequently frequented the bar for a beverage or to attend gatherings. In 1975, Wells made his cinematic debut in The Strongest Man in the World. He subsequently appeared in a series of successful films, including Private Benjamin, 1980, featuring Goldie Hawn and Eileen Brennan, The Woman in Red, 1984, starring Gene Wilder, Magnolia, 1999, and The Last Kiss, 2006, where he portrayed the uncle of Michael Weston's character, Izzy. Wells lent his voice to several other animated series such as Batman, the Animated Series, Grossology, and Johnny Bravo. But it was in 1989 that Wells starred in and voiced the animated character for which he is perhaps best remembered by younger audiences, Luigi from the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Wells passed away in Toronto on November 28, 2013, after battling cancer at the age of 72. He was laid to rest in Mount Sinai Memorial Park Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. For aficionados of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, Wells' passing was especially poignant as it coincided with Nintendo's Year of Luigi and the 30th anniversary celebration of the character, 1983. Berlina Tolbert as Jenny Willis Jefferson. Jenny is the lone daughter of Helen and Tom Willis, who became betrothed to Lionel Jefferson, eventually tying the knot and birthing a daughter, further solidifying the bond between the two clans. Lynn Moody portrayed Jenny Willis in the All in the Family episode Lionel's Engagement upon her debut, but Berlinda assumed the role for the entire series. In a 2013 conversation, Tolbert remarked, "I've only had one profession throughout my life, professional actress." She secured her inaugural film role from Martin Scorsese in Mean Streets in 1973 while attending acting school. In 1981, Tolbert competed as part of the CBS contingent on Battle of the Network Stars. In 1983, Tolbert headlined in the Maya Angelou production On a Southern Journey. After the Jeffersons concluded in 1985, Tolbert featured in movies such as Harlem Nights, Goodfellas, and Patriot Games, as well as television series including ER, 6 Feet Under, and CSI, Crime Scene Investigation. Tolbert appeared in the 2011 independent film Last Ride on the Midwest Pacific. Tolbert wed journalist Bob Reed in 1979. How enduringly timeless. Norman Lear was a titan of television, and this series ranks among his finest works. The Jeffersons kept us captivated for years, all the while imparting valuable lessons on embracing diversity. Which episode of this iconic series resonated most with you? Were you partial to another Norman Lear production? Norman